I think it's time we talk about Caleb Williams and the Chicago Bears. Caleb Williams was one of the most hyped up prospects coming out of college we've seen in quite some time. But after a depressing rookie season, the jury was kind of out on if Caleb Williams was really going to live up to those expectations or kind of just be another bust in the NFL. But ultimately, the Chicago Bears fired their offensive coordinator, fired their head coach, and got an entire new regime to come in and help Caleb Williams live up to his potential. And they didn't just get anybody. They got Ben Johnson, who looks like one of the most impressive offensive minds in the entire world of football. So let's look at how Ben Johnson in just one offseason has been able to completely change the course of Caleb Williams' career, turning him from a mediocre quarterback in this league to what looks like he could be one of the best quarterbacks in the NFL if he can operate the game this season the same way he did in this game. Let's jump right into it. Okay, I'm gonna let every play run through and then we're gonna break them down. Here you just have a quick little boot to their new tight end, Coulson Lovelin. Here you see that they're in 12 personnel. They motion Coulson Lovelin over to get him on the other side of the line of scrimmage to get him a chance to run away from the defense. You see that he has two reads on this play. The first is Coulson Lovelin. Second is going to be this over the middle. Third is up here, and here's ultimately your check down. And because this is open, he's just going to throw the ball to right here, allow him to run into it, and pick up the easy first down. Easy completion there to Coulson Lovelin. Pick up the first down. This is a great play to move the pocket, allow your quarterback to get into the rhythm really early, especially if it works. Once again, we're going to let this play run through. Just a great job picking them apart up the seam here. We see that they're in what we call cover two. So this guy has half the field. This guy has half the field. He's playing underneath. He's playing the sideline area. He's in a hook curl. He's in a hook curl right here as well. And then we're going to have a guy on the sideline over here too. And then another guy on this sideline. And ultimately, what's the best way to beat cover two? You want to get a guy on top of these linebackers and in between these safeties. So in cover two, you want to ultimately exploit this part of the field. And that's what Caleb Williams is going to do by firing this ball in right there and allowing Kmet, their other great tight end, to get up that seam for them. Okay, let's look at it. Just a great ball there. I think people were kind of confused at the Coulson Lovelin pick, myself included, because you have a guy like Kmet. But what that really allows you to do is run these kind of jumbo sets where you have two tight ends on the field and they're just as good at receiving the ball as anyone else on your team. So I just think that was a great play by Caleb Williams there. Move the sticks, nice and easy, keep them in rhythm. What I want to point out so far before I let this play run is just how good of a job Caleb Williams is doing at playing in rhythm here. That's always been the biggest critique on him, is he's really good off schedule, but on schedule, Caleb just is a completely different quarterback. He can't run the system, which is super crucial because Ben Johnson is a system quarterback. He doesn't need you to do too much. He just needs you to run the play that he called, and if you do that, you're ultimately going to win a lot of football games. So seeing the progress here from Caleb Williams is really impressive, and it leads me to believe that the Bears could actually be really scary this season if Caleb can keep it up. Here, once again, you have another timing pattern. You ultimately have DJ Moore here on the outside running just a quick little stick route. Caleb's just got to hit his back foot and get it out. That's what I like here. Once again, like I mentioned, the timing. Boom, get to that back foot, let it go. I would like to see DJ spin that to the outside and take his extra 2 yards or so rather than running backwards. But good job by Caleb here. Once again, just back foot, balls out. Really good job by him. That's something he didn't do at all last season. Nice improvement there from him. Here, we have another interesting play. Once again, we're using these tight ends. What are we doing here? Why are we circling this man? Well, it's because ultimately the route concept that we're going to run is this. We're ultimately going to run a little hitch with Zacchaeus to hold up this linebacker, and then we're going to run a crosser above him right here. And now, DeMar Hamlin, he's going to get depth. 24, I believe that's Taylor Rapp. He's going to get depth. And we're going to fit in this nice spot right in between them where we're going to be able to have a really big gain there to our tight end. Let's look at it. So once again, 44 bites down, and you hit the tight end in between the safeties and linebackers. Really great job there, once again, picking them apart. You see here what coverage they're in. They're ultimately in cover 3. Looks like cover 3 match to me. You get the tight end past the first level of the defense, and you hit him before he makes it to the second. Really great job there by Caleb. Once again, just playing on time and in rhythm. Here we have a play that's kind of what Caleb is used to doing, this off-schedule stuff here. And what I want to point out about this play is this is what Caleb gives you that maybe Jared Goff doesn't if you're Ben Johnson, right? That's why you're enamored about leaving Detroit and maybe coming here, because Caleb can do this off-schedule stuff. Now, he misses it here, obviously, but I mean, if you just look at how fast the ball comes out of his hand, even running to his right like that, it's really impressive. Now, you would like for him to ultimately get this ball to about right here, hit his receiver in stride, but he messes up. It's preseason. We're not going to crucify him for it, but that's just something that Caleb does that Jared Goff doesn't do. Here we have a great play designed by Ben Johnson. Once again, let's look at it from the other angle. Okay, here we're going to have a concept where we want our receivers to intentionally overlap with one another, right? So then we're going to bend him out and hit him in, which is going to cause some traffic right here, which is going to allow Zacchaeus to get wide open. Let's look at it. Great job there. Throwing once again with anticipation, playing inside the structure of an offense. What I love to see here is look how hype Caleb Williams is over this play. I mean, this is a preseason touchdown, and he's just so excited for how well he's playing. And once again, just on time, in rhythm, right here to DJ Moore. Nothing too complex about this here. Man coverage, quick out route. We're going to see here. He's hitting that back foot and he's throwing with timing and anticipation. This is all anyone has asked out of Caleb Williams. If he can do this, he is going to be a top tier quarterback in the NFL, which is why this is so scary. The Bears have a good defense. They obviously have Ben Johnson now, who's the best creative mind in football, in my opinion. Him and Sean McVay, maybe Kyle Shanahan, are all three right there. Andy Reid, obviously. But I think Ben Johnson's special. And if he can already get this out of Caleb in one offseason, imagine what they can look like together 5 years from now, right? So that's just something where I'm loving this so far from Caleb. What I want to point out about this play, is watch how good of a job he's doing going through his progressions. 1, 2, 3, ball. Now he misses it, but is this his fault? I say no. I think this running back right here has to recognize there's a safety right here. So he should kind of teeter his route off a little bit, slow it down, allow Caleb to hit him right here, and then he'll get tackled for a modest gain or whatever. But he's ultimately still running full speed at this safety, and Caleb isn't going to throw a pick, so he has to throw it behind his running back there. Not a bad incompletion, though, because once again, it's in a spot where only your receiver can catch it. Okay, now I want to go over this screen pass because I think it shows how far Caleb has progressed, right? This is something that maybe last year he would have tried to extend and make something happen with, but he just notices, hey, it's shut down. Let's not throw a ball that's going to get us tackled for about a 3 or 4 yard loss, right? Let's survive another down. And I think that's something that a lot of the top tier quarterbacks do that guys like Caleb haven't necessarily done early on. So I love that progression from him here. Here we have a ball that Rome Odunze has to catch, right? You're a top tier receiver. We need you catching this ball. Now, what I would rather him do, though, and I know hindsight's 20/20, but the reason I say that is clearly we have a numbers advantage over here, right? We have 1, 2, 3 defenders, with this third defender playing further off than this side. And over here we have 1, 2, 3, 4 defenders in this area. Both of them have 2 receivers, except the only difference is the tight end here is going to actually cross the field. So really you have 1 weapon over here versus 3 defenders. And over here you have 2 versus 3 defenders. So I think it would have just been a lot easier to hit DJ Moore here. Obviously, DJ got more open, so it's easy for me to say that now, but I ultimately think that would have just been a better job by him. But what's my overall take on Caleb? I think if he can keep this up, obviously this is our first time getting a chance to look at him in this new system, but if he can keep this up, he is going to be an elite NFL quarterback. Under Ben Johnson, the Bears might actually become relevant again if Caleb's able to play like this. And man, it's scary. If you think about the NFC North, you have the Packers, Vikings, Lions, and now the Bears playing like this. I think the Packers are going to somehow be the worst team in that division, and I think they're still a team that's capable of winning 7 or 8 games, which just shows you how great the NFC North really is. So let me know down below what you think about Caleb Williams. Once again, I think this was an incredible game, and this tape is way better than anything else I saw from him all last season. I wasn't as high on him coming out of college as a lot of other people were. So I didn't think his college film was that impressive in terms of what an NFL quarterback should look like. So now that I'm seeing this from him, if he can combine those traits that got him drafted #1 overall with what he's picked up and how he played in this game, once again, I think he's just going to be an elite NFL quarterback and live up to those expectations. and be by far the best quarterback in Chicago's history.